Well, all right, guys, let's keep rolling here. So last video, we read Daniel 2, verses 31 through 35. We saw Daniel describe this statue and the different metals or components that made it up. We identified 4. You could say 5. You could say 5 because there was some clay in there. We had gold, silver, brass, iron, and then clay. And the clay's mixed with the iron, though. So we'll see, is that 4 or 5? And then we know this Nebuchadnezzar, what bothered him, I think, is he saw this stone come without hands and destroy that whole statue. And we're going to talk about how that did in fact bother him here when Daniel explains what that means. So starting here with verse 36, Daniel now interprets what Nebuchadnezzar saw. So he says in 36, "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king." So let's just explore who the gold is. It was the image's head was of fine gold. Who's that? Verse 37, "Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory." So Daniel's explaining to Nebuchadnezzar his power and Babylon are from God. "And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven he hath given unto thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them. Thou art this head of gold." So Daniel explains, that statue you saw, the head of gold, that's you, Nebuchadnezzar. That's the Babylonian kingdom. So the first king, remember, we're trying to find out who are these kings in Daniel 2:44. "And in the days of these kings, God shall set up his kingdom." So the first king is Nebuchadnezzar. And his day was the day of Babylon in this time right now. It's when Daniel's there interpreting this for Nebuchadnezzar. He's the king, that's happening. He's the head of gold in the statue. So that's the first king. Verse 39, "And after thee," so after Nebuchadnezzar, "shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee." So he's telling Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom is going to end, and another one will arise after you that's inferior. Then he goes on to say, "And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth." So he's talking about 3 different kingdoms here. He's talking about Nebuchadnezzar's the gold. Another kingdom inferior will rise, which is silver. That's the second metal. And then he said the third kingdom of brass, which will be more powerful. It'll bear rule over all the earth. So all right there, Daniel's identified these three different kingdoms that are going to rise. And then he starts to describe the fourth. "And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron." So now he's into the iron. "Forasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided." So right there, we get to understand that the iron and the clay aren't 2 different kingdoms. They're a kingdom that's divided. So we now have identified 4 kingdoms, 4 kings. And we're just going to keep dissecting this, guys, but we already know Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon is the first king and kingdom. We were told there's a second one that's inferior, a third one that's the brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth, and the fourth kingdom is pretty unique. It's got some clay mixed with iron. It's powerful. It will subdue and break into all the other kingdoms before it into pieces. And we're probably just going to stop there, and we'll pick up in Daniel 2:41, verse 2:41, chapter 2, verse 41, when we hit the next video.